Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for plenty more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Happy Monday. Each and every Monday, we are live with you right here on YouTube, hanging out, talking about the most important thing in the whole wide world, which, of course, is going on a Royal Caribbean cruise. Thank you for joining us here. We're going to answer as many Royal Caribbean cruise questions as I can, starting with the most important question. How many days until your next cruise? Type your countdown in chat. Let's count down together. And as you can tell, we are not in our home studio today. Coming to you live from Yosemite National Park in California. We're here doing a little family vacation, and we're traveling all over the West Coast. And we actually just got to Yosemite today. We're staying inside the park, and you can see here it's an absolutely stunning evening here in Yosemite. Happy July 4th, everybody. Glad to have all our friends here. And we're going to get started because we had a lot of super chats already before the broadcast even began. You guys are incredible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Carolyn Stoner had her first super chat. Thank you, Carolyn. We'll be touring the Mediterranean in a few days. Any idea what Royal Caribbean may do if the protests continue in France? We have a stop in Marseille. Thanks in advance. You know, it's a good question, Carolyn. And the answer, I don't have the answer for you. I'm not even sure there is an answer yet until maybe the day that you visit. You know, it's Royal Caribbean's intention to visit each and every port that you go to. If there is a cause for concern from a safety reason, they will not do so. But as it usually is with these kind of things, whether they're protests or strikes or what have you, they change on a daily basis. And it may not be affecting where you're going directly. I'm not an expert on what's happening in France. I don't pretend to be. All I can tell you is that if Royal Caribbean feels that it is not safe, then they won't stop there. But I don't think they'll necessarily exercise that decision until maybe a day or so before your cruise. Maybe the day you get on board the sailing, you'll know. It's a very fluid situation. I think that it has to do a lot with that. We have a super chat from Brittany B. Thank you, Brittany, for the super chat. What happens if you've already paid most of your cruise balance but can't quite make the final payment? Can you get an extension? Unfortunately not. I'm not certainly aware of anything. The final payment date is the final payment date. And certainly you can make payments all the way up until that final payment date. You can pay up $1, pay it all off, doesn't matter. But the final payment date is a firm date on that. I have not heard of extensions or anything being offered there. Some travel agencies actually bump up the final payment date, but that really that's an internal decision. Like they'll do it sooner to give people a little more time. But the date that Royal Caribbean has is pretty much written in stone. So I feel like if you are, I'm not sure you have any leeway there, quite frankly. And if you don't make the final payment date, by the way, even though you paid off most of it, if you don't make final payment, you will lose the reservation and it'll be canceled. So definitely do something. Make a payment, borrow some money, or defer the cruise if that's necessary. I think on this next super chat, yes, I do have from Sydney super chat. Sydney, thank you for the super chat. Just got off Oasis on Friday and had absolute best time. Dying to book another one ASAP. Just want to thank you for all your helpful tips. You are very welcome. I love Oasis of the Seas. It is a really great ship. I missed some super chats earlier. Okay, I thought there were more than this. Raymond Weaver. Raymond, thank you for the super chat. How does it work when you buy internet for two people with one device per person? Basically, you'll get a code, and the code can be shared. So if you buy the 2-device plan, then it's 2 devices can be logged at the same time, Raymond. So if you log in first, then you'll use the login code and you're good to go. And then the other person can log in with the same code and use their device there. If you were to log in with another device, a third device, it will then say, hey, you've used up all your devices. Do you want to kick somebody off or what? And you'll have that option there. And Steve Ernst, Steve, thank you for the super chat. I'm not sure, Steve, if there was a message there, but Steve, thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lots of people in the chat already. I love that. Thank you guys. Lots of countdowns as well. Fantastic. That is great. Great news. Mike Pastore is here. What's up, Mike? Good evening to you. Thank you, everybody, for staying up a little later. I know that we're usually live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Mondays, but we were traveling today. It was a long drive. I drove from San Diego to Yosemite. It's a long drive. So we needed to do a little later this evening. So I appreciate each and everybody's cooperation. Mark Pizzo in the chat. What's up, Mark? Thank you so much for the kind words. And it's so good to see you here, Mark. Hope you and the fam are well. And I've seen Mark Pizzo. I instantly think he probably made some amazing Italian food. And now I'm hungry. Matt just had an amazing time in Bermuda last week on Liberty. Nice. Love that itinerary. That is fantastic. William, thank you very much. It was really hot everywhere in Central California except for when we got over here, although now it's evening, so I'm actually wearing long sleeves out. I was fine in shorts, but I decided to change in case it got a little chillier later on. Jared wants to know, will you be going on a celebrity ship now that now that it will stop at CocoCay? So if you didn't hear, Celebrity Cruises announced last week that it's going to start offering cruises that visit Perfect Day at CocoCay, and the answer is yes. Actually, did just this afternoon booked a cruise on Celebrity Reflection. I think I'm on the first sailing that goes there in April. I hope so anyway. But I just booked it there, so fingers crossed I will make that sailing. As many of you know, I like to do refundable deposits just in case to take care of that. Aaron Ross. Aaron, thank you for the super chat. Aaron says, was Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta hotter than Florida? Yes. I mean, I have not been in Florida since mid-June, and I understand it's gotten very, very warm there, but it was Mazatlan especially was surface of the sun. It was extremely hot. Yeah, it was really, really hot. Cabo wasn't too bad. It was like 84 or something like that, but by the time we got to Mazatlan, it was just ridiculously hot. So yeah. Miller wants to know what are the typical pool hours going on Allure this season. So I don't know off the top of my head, but you can actually get an answer to your question, Miller. If you go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com and go to our cruise compass, we have an archive of cruise compasses, and it's in the main menu of the page. Find a cruise compass from Allure of the Seas. You can actually see the pool hours listed there. So we don't have to talk about in hyperbole or generalizations. You can go right in and get the answer there. It's not my way of deferring your questions. It's my way of getting you actually the most accurate information out there. So again, go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. In our main menu, it says Cruise Compass. Click on that, find Allure, and you'll have your answer right there. Yeah, going back to the final payment extension thing, Emily Acevedo said, I tried to get an extension. They told me no. Yeah, they really are pretty strict about that kind of thing. Ethan wants to know, can you use a Visa gift card to buy a drink package, an internet package? Pre-cruise, could you use maybe? I've never tried it, but they take, as long as you've got a gift, most Visa gift cards have, obviously the credit card number and a CVC code and all that. You could try it. In my experience, I have had varying degrees of success using gift cards. If it's an actual card, like a physical one, like someone gave you as a gift, they give a better chance. I remember I got an e-gift card from I don't know, like a rebate from like my eye doctor, one of those. So like no physical card, it was a digital code, and I couldn't use it on a number of websites, like random ones, and then like on Amazon it worked. So I'd give it a try. I don't know if anyone has any experience trying those things, but it depends on where the Visa gift card comes from primarily, I feel like. Rhonda wants to know, how do I get distilled water for my CPAP machine? Rhonda, you want to Google Royal Caribbean Special Needs Form. Royal Caribbean Special Needs Form. And there's an option there for CPAP machine support. So you can get that over there. I see Becky Menken from MEI Travel in the chat. I also see Shannon in the chat. We hung out with Shannon on board the Navigator of the Seas a couple weeks ago, which was awesome. By the way, Shannon, this is about as close as I get to you without being on a group cruise, which is great. You're over, and I don't want to dox you, but you're somewhere in the general vicinity of northern central California-ish. Let's see here. Next question. Pat from Connecticut in the house. Just got home from a 14-day land and sea on Radiance. Awesome, awesome, awesome trip. Dude, I am dying to do a land and sea tour. So what Pat is talking about is select Alaska cruises offer a cruise, but in addition, you can add on, optionally, a land tour that takes you inland to Alaska and visits places like Denali. I definitely want to check it out. Becky Menken from MMI Travel is here. West Coast time here. It's great. It's great in the evening. It's terrible in the morning because if you wake up at 7 a.m., which is early for me, that's 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm already behind everything. But yes, this time of day, it's fantastic. But in the morning, it's terrible. I'm waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning so I can be on East Coast time. Let's see here. Christine wants to know, Matt, does the check-in open at midnight on the date specified in the cruise planner? It is midnight where your ship is embarkation port is going to be. So hope that makes sense. Tim, oh man, how am I pronounce this one? Vodopivich, hope I said that right. Tim, thank you for the super chat. New to the channel, appreciate all the info. Thank you very much. Welcome. Going on Anthem of the season December, are there any shows on board we have to reserve seats for? Yes. On Anthem of the Seas, you can reserve seats for any of the shows in 270, as well as the Royal Theater. And I do recommend you get them if you can. It's free to do so, so there's really no reason not to. But you definitely want to check those out and get a reservation for them. You can get it via the Cruise Planner website right around 45 days or so before your cruise. Patricia, also from California. So we got a lot of Californians in the house. Love that. Justin York, where is the best place you would eat in Port Canaveral? Ooh, I've got two places for you. If you just want, like, if you're staying at a Cocoa Beach hotel and you're looking for something good, there is the Ale House. I believe it's the Cocoa Beach Ale House. Definitely called the Ale House. I don't know if it's Cocoa Beach or it's not Canaveral Ale House, but that place is pretty good. I've been there a number of times. It's great. It's bar food. There's drinks. Good for kids too. Don't worry. But if you want better food, if you want some good food, I really like Rising Tide. Ironically, it's the same name as the Rising Tide bar on the Oasis class ships. No relation to Royal Caribbean, but it's right by the port. It's not on the water, but the food is way better than the restaurants on the water. Rising Tide is what I would recommend. Steve was on Reflection in April. Nice. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Juanita, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Matt. When does Royal Caribbean open up on the app prior to your cruise to download? Oh, sorry. When does Royal Caribbean open up the app prior to your cruise to download docs and start the check-in process? Right around 30 days before your cruise, you'll be able to do that and get those things in there. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Thank you for the super chat. Dave, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I don't see a message from Dave, but I'm sure there it is. I found Dave's message here. Hey Matt, Dave O here, 60 days to Mariner 560 to another cruise that he accidentally clicked enter to. Oh, there it is, Utopia. I found it again. I'm really good at finding Dave's messages. Dave, thank you for your generosity, my friend. I appreciate you. BK Lounge 87, thank you for the super chat. 132 days to Symphony of the Seas. Any special considerations for the first cruise after a ship repositions? Is the ship more likely to have its CDC inspection? Not necessarily. Honestly, it's more like the Coast Guard than the CDC, but I digress. It's irrelevant. The Coast Guard in general tries not to be very predictable with their inspections, so that they can't, the crew can't ramp up. So I would say not necessarily. But are there any special considerations for the first cruise after a reposition? Not really. I think the biggest difference I've always noticed about a cruise ship right after a repositioning is the fact that sometimes there are certain brands of consumable items that are left over from the other region. As an example, you might find waters and yogurts that are from Europe, butter that's from Europe. You'll see European brands. They're going to run through those until they run out and then hit up the American stockpile of stuff. So that's really the only thing I can think of. Occasionally you have new entertainers swap on, but that really has more to do with their contract timing than anything else. So not the truth is not really. Jason on board the Harmony of the Seas. Nice. Love that. Deputy Gets Some says, do you get Royal Caribbean loyalty points for all the nights stayed on the land and sea? Yes, actually, that is a nice little, it's one of the few, and probably the only way you can get Crown and Anchor points for not going on a cruise. And that is if you do a land tour through Royal Caribbean. Yes, absolutely, 100%. So, Aaron Shepard says, can you please explain the bidding process for cabins? I'm on the fence about bidding. And we have some articles and some videos, I think, here on our channel about this as well, and over articles at royalcaribbeanblog.com. But essentially, you're placing a bid, Aaron. It's kind of like me saying, Aaron, if you, hypothetically, if you wanted to upgrade to, such and such cabin type, how much would you be willing to pay? And of course, you're going to say, well, Matt, I don't know. Like, they'll say, okay, well, no worries, Aaron. We'll give you a range. Pick a number. And of course, you have no idea, Aaron, if number one, there is a cabin to upgrade to. Number two, if they're if someone else has already made a bid, so you don't know how competitive your bid is, but it's a hypothetical. And basically what Royal Caribbean does is they use that bid for the off chance really somebody cancels their cruise at the last minute. Occasionally there are unsold cabins and they'll use that as well. But you go through, there's a link that you'll know about this because you're going to get an email from Royal Caribbean. You go in, you put in information, and then they give you a different kind of rooms, and you basically there's a slider, and you choose the amount that you want, and that's basically it. And then they'll let you know, oops, they'll let you know anytime between now and your sale date if you won the bid or not. Keeping in mind, by the way, that if you do win the bid, that it's binding, and Royal Caribbean picks the cabin assignment. So let's say you win a bid for a balcony, you don't get to pick where your room is. They're going to pick it for you. Something to keep in mind over there. Let's see here. We have some super chats coming in here, starting off with Scary. Scary, it is good to see you here again. Basal Radiance. Nice. Dumb question of the night. Do we need to pack our own materials for the egg drop contest? No. I know what Scary is referring to is an activity that I'm not even sure they offer all the time, but I have seen it before. Basically, in the Centrum, they'll put people like on like deck 11 or 10, and they drop an egg with or something on a DIY parachute and see who survived. No, they'll provide all those activities for you. So you don't have to bring. You just have to bring yourself on that one, and that's true for all activities on board the ship. The only thing you really need to bring, it won't apply to you on Radiance, is if you're going ice skating, long pants and socks, but otherwise you're good to go. Hayden wants to know, are there shows like Love and Marriage on most Royal Caribbean cruises? Yes, I believe they're on all of them. I'm not sure about the short ones, but they should be on all of them. Absolutely. Next question. Emily Acevedo wants to know, do I recommend the upgrade program? I don't. I think it's a little misleading in the sense of how likely it is to actually occur. And of course, you have no idea if you will win it or not. So I don't recommend it. I compare it to like playing the lottery, like when you play the lottery, you don't assume you're going to win the lottery. Same kind of idea, if that makes sense. Guy wants a hotel recommendation in Miami. We have a great article about hotel recommendations in Miami. I'm going to post it in the chat for you. Miami hotel. It's over at royalcaribbeanblog.com. So check out that article I just posted in the chat, Guy, and that should hopefully help you out there. We have another super chat that came in. 1 second. From A6L DMG as Z. Thanks for all the information. What tip do you recommend for kids 10 and 15? Generally, I mean, again, I don't know which cruise you've been on or not, but certainly Odyssey of the Seas would be fantastic. Harmony of the Seas, Oasis of the Seas. Any of the Oasis or Quantum class ships are usually a safe bet. So Wonder, Odyssey, Harmony, those are great choices for kids that age. There are many more beyond that. I'm just, trying to make it like more concise for you to narrow down your search there. Let's see here. I think we have another super chat that came in. Hold on a second. Steve Ernst. Steve, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Can Icon class ship go through the Panama Canal? I don't believe so. I'm not sure what the size is. I shouldn't say that. I have no idea. I have no earthly idea. So I am not entirely sure. I apologize for not giving you a better answer, but rather than me make it up, I have no idea. Generally speaking, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say that most of them don't do that, but maybe they do. Okay, never mind. I have no idea. I'm just going to leave it at that. Tropical Ken wants to know, do you know if I can get a paper copy of the compass at the passenger assistance guest services? Generally, yes. Most people that have gone there have asked for it, have been able to get it, so I think so. So Modern Myth says you don't have to bring materials, but you might want to. Basically, if you want to cheat at it and bring a better parachute, then yeah, there's one way to do that. So, Jason, this is my favorite Alaska question right there. When do deer become moose? Absolutely. Ryan Olds got a deep question. All right, chat. What do you guys think? Type in chat what you think about this. Do you think someone can cruise too much? And before you all say LOL, no, because that is the do you really think that's the case? I do. I really do think you can cruise too much. I mean, personally, I think for me, I cruise a lot. And if in a perfect world, I would cruise about once every 6 weeks or so. I find that after about somewhere around 6 weeks, maybe it's 3 weeks, maybe it's 5, but somewhere around there, I start to get the itch back. Like, I'm like, oh man, I really could go for like, the cruise lifestyle again. But people have asked me, Matt, would you ever want to live on a cruise ship, or cruise year round? And the answer is absolutely not. I would not want to. I like cruising a lot, but I like cruising because it's kind of an escape. But there are some things being on land I enjoy about it, but also it gives me a better appreciation for being on a cruise, being on land, that is. Um, so I don't. Do I think someone can cruise too much? Sure, but it's more of a personal taste than anything else. I mean, there are people that do cruise months at a time, and clearly they enjoy it and they love it. That's fantastic. Good for them. I'm not here to tell you that they shouldn't do that or that's a mistake, but I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, everybody should cruise. If you had the choice, everybody should cruise nonstop or anything like that, because I do think there is such thing as too much. Um, it certainly starts to, after a while, it's like, oh, this is great, but you miss certain things about land life a little bit. Maybe not the work aspect, but other things. You know what's funny? Speaking of cruise, I just remembered. So actually, where we are right now, I'm actually using Starlink internet on land. Where we're staying, we're in the middle of Yosemite Park, and there's no cell signal here. So the place we're staying has Starlink, and I was like, oh, that's fun. I'm using Starlink again, and it's working. I think it's working out pretty well. I don't know what you guys think. Camilla wants to know: is there a way to indicate a food allergy? Yes, you can do so by going to the special needs form. Again, Google Royal Caribbean special needs form for more of that. We got some super chats coming in hot. Dan Kaldenberg. Dan, thank you for the super chat. Hello from Wisconsin. Thanks for all you do. 12 days, and I'll be on Mariner. Can't wait. You're going to love Mariner this is. Great ship. And just 12 days away. Awesome, dude. Love it. That's a great summer vacation right there. Jeremy, a little disappointed you didn't bring Alf with you for your background. I know, right? We put him like right over here on the railing. There was no room, dude. I was way like we packed everything on this cruise. On the cruise too. We originally came for a cruise on Navigator of the Seas, and now we're staying out here for a couple of weeks because my sister's getting married later this month, and so we wanted to kind of hang around for a little bit, do a little family vacation. Zach Brady. Zach, thank you for the super chat. Currently on a wonder and having a blast. Thanks for all your great content. Please use this opportunity to shout out Royal Caribbean Blog Insiders. Zach, thank you for your shameless plug and your support, my friend. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Yeah, so we have a Royal Caribbean Blog Insider program. Basically, it's a way to, over the years, people have asked, Matt, how do I support what you do here? So we have the Insider program. If you go to royalcaribbeanblog.com/support, it's an opportunity to donate. It's kind of like PBS. Like you donate, as little as $1 a month, and the money we get from that program goes right back into royalcaribbeanblog.com and funding the content, whether it's these videos or videos during the week, whether it is our podcast episodes, the research articles we do. It's all because of that. We also launched recently. I didn't say anything about it because it's more of a soft launch, but it's out there. We also started memberships here on YouTube that you can join. Similar idea, but it's within YouTube, so you don't have to leave YouTube, and it just works, if you will. And I'm thinking down the line, we may end up doing like member-only videos, like live streams, just for members and special content. So it's a work in progress, but those are ways you can give back if you so choose. You don't have to. Trust me, you don't need to do that stuff, but there are some people who really are amazing benefactors to what we do here at royalcaribbeanblog.com. So if you are looking for a way to donate, the Insider program and memberships, obviously, those are things that you could do here. Christine Del Rossi in the chat. Christine says, I could cruise forever. Teresa says, every 3 months is perfect for me, unless your friends convince you should book another cruise in between. So let's see here. Aaron Shepard says, my husband and I will be cruising for our anniversary. What are special things Royal Caribbean will do for special occasions? There isn't necessarily much. I mean, when you go to a restaurant, mostly when you go to a restaurant, you tell them, hey, it's our anniversary. They may provide you a special cake, they may sing you a song or something like that. That's about it. You can purchase decorations for your cabin, but you got to purchase them. There's nothing in here, there's nothing automatic. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there isn't like a litany of things that you could do or get, if you will, for it being your anniversary. But certainly when you tell them, crew members will let you know that, they'll if you let them know, rather, they'll celebrate for you and, say hello and whatnot. So, how was Yosemite? I just got here. We just got here a couple hours. I haven't actually gone anywhere. We just drove in, but it is beautiful. I mean, it is Really, really nice. It's starting to cool down a little bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing maybe the stars tonight. Oh, the Starlink dish is literally right above me. It's kind of funny. I just noticed that. Let's see here. Andy Hall. Andy, thank you for the super chat. There is the 35% off deal running right now on the Royal Caribbean website on dining, tours, and more. Should I take advantage of it now or wait for a better deal? Andy, I'm so glad you asked me this because this is one of the most common mistakes people ask me all the time. The answer is book it now. Do not wait for a better deal because I'm going to tell you why. If there is a better deal tomorrow or next week or whenever, you can always cancel and rebook and get that better deal. But sometimes the price goes up. So you definitely, if there's anything you're interested in, drink package, shore excursion, Wi-Fi, book it now, lock in the price. If there is a better deal later on, you can always cancel and rebook. There's no penalty for doing so. If you decide later on you don't want to book it, you don't want it anymore. You bought the dining package, you say, you know what, I really don't want it. You can cancel. There's no penalty for doing so. So definitely take advantage and book it. Book it now. Lock in that rate for sure. Let's see here. Nick Loggins question: my travel agent booked me on the wrong date. We got it fixed. However, the price from the previous one is still on my credit card. Will that go away with the new price? It should. Obviously, you got to talk to your travel agent about that. But if basically if you booked one sailing and then booked another one and canceled the first one, yes, it will eventually go away. They'll refund it is what they'll do. I mean, obviously you can't really ever take a transaction back, but what you can do is get a refund and negate it out. And essentially, that probably should be what you're going to run into right there. So. We have some super chats coming in. Hang on a second. Verify 950. Verify, thank you for the super chat. Do you think the infinite balcony concept is going to be more widespread? Yes. I have no reason to believe Royal Caribbean is not going to continue rolling that out. The infinite balcony concept is something that came out on Celebrity Cruises first, and it's becoming to the Icon of the Seas, and I think Utopia of the Seas. I forget now if Utopia has it or not, but I think so. I think there's a lot of reasons why Royal Caribbean likes it. So I think there's reason to believe with new ships, you'll see it. Will it come on older ships? I doubt it, but you never know. Let's see here. We have another super chat, I believe. Yes. Will 22193. Hi, Matt. Congrats on Pinnacle. Thank you. Is it too early to worry about flights out of New York City airports due to delays and cancellations on flights? Heading to Tampa in September to get on Serenade. Yes, it is way too early. Number one, the news media makes the airline cancellations and delays 10 times worse than it is. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but they hyper focus on it and they never report when there aren't cancellations and delays. Just pointing that out. Number two, summer, which is where we're in right now. This is the peak right here. July 4th is the peak of summer travel. Will September is already way past. It's not even summer travel; it's fall travel. I'm not saying there won't be a cancellation or a delay with your flight, but you're not in the same category of travel times, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't worry about it one bit. Not certainly to the point of what you're seeing today. Remember, the news drums this up every year. There's certain stories that they drum up every year. This is one of them about trying to the airlines, tons of cancellations and delays because it's just a story they can troll out there during a time of year, July 4th, when there's not a lot of other news going on, because most of the reporters are taking time off for the holiday. I digress about modern journalism and whatnot. But I mean, again, I'm not saying there aren't delays and cancellations. I'm just saying that summertime is a very popular time for this to occur because there's more travel, so higher demand, more likely that could occur. So anyway, September, you will be totally fine on that. I think you're no worries whatsoever. We have another super chat. Aaron Carson. Aaron, thank you for the super chat. 21 days till freedom. How many times have you sailed on this ship? Ooh. At one point, it was the ship I sailed on the most. I think it's like 4, maybe 5 at this point. What features did I enjoy the most or least on freedom? So I've only been on her once since the amplification. I love the new Playmakers on board. That is fantastic. It's a really nice space. So I think that's like number one. Number two, the new pool deck is fantastic. El Loco Fresh. Those are such good changes. And Giovanni's Italian Kitchen was a really nice change, quite a bit. So yeah, really, really good. John wants to know, is it only USA that gets prepaid gratuities plus 18% on bar and drink package and $400 in tips for boarding? Is this normal? Maybe I'm stingy, just wondering why. It's all the world, John. In some countries like Australia, they just bake it into the cruise fare, not the drink package, but the gratuities. But it's the same difference. You're paying it either way. The reason why you're doing that is because the crew members that are serving you work hard for that. They're providing you that service, and so that's the way it is. And obviously, John, even if you don't get the drink package, you're still or prepaid gratuities, you're still going to get that stuff charged to you automatically. It's automatic charge. The problem, I think, and this is where I think the problem is on a higher level. I think the issue for me, John, is that they're still calling it gratuities, as in the idea that it's optional. They're compulsory. And so, I just wish they would just bake it into the cruise fare and stop pretending. But there's a lot of marketing reasons why they don't do this. Anyway, I digress. The point is that this is just the way things are with cruises, and it's true for like all the cruise lines. So it's not just a Royal Caribbean thing. It's not just an American thing. It is just it is the way of the world of cruising, as it were, right now. So let's see here. Janice is selling on a junior suite on Harmony. Are WoW bands free? No, not in a junior suite. No. Gary says, I'm not a huge fan of the infinite balconies. Why is that? I'm just curious. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I've never experienced them before, but when infinite balconies were announced on Icon, I got a lot of comments from different readers who said, oh, I didn't like that. Now, listen, maybe it's just, different strokes for different folks kind of thing. I'm just curious. The biggest thing I've heard is that the biggest downside of the infinite balconies, I've not experienced it, so I don't know if this is true or how true it is. The balcony is open. If the window's down, the air conditioning turns off automatically, which can be a problem. For what it's worth, I had an offhand comment. I feel like I can share this because I'm not quoting anybody directly, but I brought this up to Royal Caribbean at one point, and they basically were like, well, yes, but also the infinite balconies on Icon are going to be a different generation than the ones maybe on Celebrity Edge, if that makes sense. Son Lindo wants to know, can you share the refreshment package with your partner? No, that is strictly against the rules. Robert is going on their first cruise on Serenade of the Seas. How does the ship compare to other newer and larger ships? It doesn't really compare that well in the grand scheme of newer and larger ships have more amenities, more dining, more activities, more things to do, water slides. Serenade doesn't have those things. Still has, a few specialty restaurants, and there are things to do on board the ship. You will not be bored unless you choose to be bored. But there's still things to do on board the ship. But if you watch a Royal Caribbean commercial, pretty much other than the pool, there isn't none of those things are beyond your ship. There's no water slides. There's no Ultimate Abyss. There's no flow rider. There's no surf simulator. There is a theater, but it's a more classic cruising experience. So, let's see here. Judy is going on Harmony of the Season 2024. The wedding was supposed to happen is no longer. Can I transfer that money to the last cruise for 22? For 22? I think there's a typo somewhere. With the typo there for 22, I'm not sure I follow you exactly, but here's the thing. If you have a cruise booked, I'd say most travel agents can move the deposit money without having to basically cancel the money and then recharge you again. It depends on the reservation type, especially also, Judy, is it non-refundable or refundable? Because keep in mind, by the way, if it's non-refundable, then you're going to incur a change fee, which is fine. It's still better than a full-out cancellation, but something to keep in mind there. So the answer is one of my most common answers to questions on here that nobody likes hearing. It depends. We're doing on time. We're good. We're good on time right there. Nice. Let's see here. Wu-Tang Life. What's up, man? Question. We know that Royal Caribbean is more expensive than the other three big lines. Sometimes, not necessarily, but okay, I'll skip that part. Is there something that you get that others don't give you to justify the cost difference? Number one, Royal Caribbean's a market leader, in my opinion. So in terms of the amenities that you're offered on board, in terms of the activities, the entertainment, the quality of the offerings, I think that any NCL, MSC, or Carnival fan would be the first to point out that the cruise line's offerings are not equal. Just because one cruise line offers one thing and Royal Caribbean offers a similar experience. Doesn't mean it's the same thing. I don't know if that makes sense. In terms of quality, in terms of preference, a variety of other things there. Um, I mean, I truly believe that one of the reasons why Royal Caribbean is where it's at is because it is a market leader in that regard. So you're paying a little bit for maybe that brand name, maybe for that cash, but also for what you get on board the ship. At the end of the day, it's what's being backed up on board. And listen, if you want a bottom barrel rate cruise fare, MSC is always going to be cheaper than Royal Caribbean. I mean, not always, but almost always going to be always cheaper, right? But the service on MSC versus Royal Caribbean, a little different. Little that's probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks, right? Is the food the same? It's just the old adage, you get what you pay for kind of thing, I think does apply to some extent. So it's a larger conversation, but that's my 37-second answer for you. Warren C in the house. Every ship should have a Playmakers. Let me tell you something, Warren. If every ship had a Playmakers, it would be infinitely easier to find you on a cruise ship, because when we were on Mariner together, Warren was always at Playmakers there. How are you, buddy? I don't disagree with you, by the way. I do love that quite a bit. It's really, really good. We got some more super chats coming in. Steve Ernst. Steve, thank you for the super chat. Has Royal Caribbean announced any future amplifications? They have not. I've talked to Royal Caribbean about this topic a number of times, and the answer has always been the same, Steve. They intend to do more, but they don't have the money for it right now. So everything's on pause for right now for amplification. So nothing has been announced there. We have another super chat coming in from Aaron Ross. Aaron, thank you for the super chat. Since I started sailing with Royal last May, I look forward to Love and Marriage. Every sailing, just wondering if you go at all. I go every so often. I love Love and Marriage. It's a great show. I think the quality or how funny it is depends on two factors. One is the contestants, and number two is the cruise director, how well they do their job in their style. But I don't go every time, but I'll probably go one out of every 4 cruises by, check it out. Obviously, if anybody I know is participating, then I will definitely be there. But it's always fun. And let me tell you something, Aaron. If I don't go to the show physically, I almost always watch the replay in my cabin at some point, because it's usually a good time. Ashley Cruise fan, 4 days till Mariner. Any updates on the adult area CocoCay? There's construction going on, but it's not going to open until, it sounds like now, early January 2024 at this point. But no new updates or any other information beyond that. The Teresa McChain, thank you for the super chat. Happy Hookie? What does that mean? But thank you nonetheless. I'm sure it's probably an insult to Tony Diaz that I don't understand, so I'm all in favor of it. Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate you. Marla, any tips for first-time cruisers? Book with a good travel agent. Research the ship you're going on, meaning look into what it offers, what it doesn't offer, because not all the ships are all the same. Book as early as you can. Book it 12, 16, 24 months ahead. The earlier you book, generally speaking, the better the price you're going to have. And lastly, try to pre-book as much as you can. Shore excursions, internet, drink packages. It may save you money, but it also is going to make your life logistically a lot easier if you do so. We have another super chat coming in here. You guys are very, very generous. Thank you, guys. Brittany Lang. Brittany, thank you for the epic super chat. Oh, thank you, Brittany. Hey, Matt. First and foremost, beautiful background behind you. Thank you. Hope your day is well. Question: I want to book a reservation for Chops Grill. Do you have to book on the Royal Caribbean app, or can you do it in person? If you don't, you can do either or. My advice to you is, if you don't have a dining package and you're just, Matt, I just want to book Chops Grill, that's it. Go to the Royal Caribbean website, book it in the cruise planner. Super simple. You can pick your day, your time, and you're good to go. You may also be able to book it in the app, but I think it's easier on the website via the cruise planner website. Just go to RoyalCaribbeanblog.com. Go to RoyalCaribbean.com. Log into your account, go in there, find your sailing, book it. It's pretty straightforward. You could wait to book it on board the ship, and just do it that way. Of course, if you wait to book it on board, there may be less availability in terms of days and times. And one other thing, Brittany, if you booked a dining package, then you have no choice but to wait until you get on board the ship to book it. So, hope that makes sense. Mike Wolf. Mike, thank you for the super chat. The Wolves are living by one rule: YOLO, book it. Those are 3 important words to live by, no doubt. That's getting chilly out now. It feels great. YOLO book it. When in doubt, YOLO book it. That was like today, Mike. I embraced the YOLO book it mentality because we were driving in the car today. My travel agent texted me and said, "Hey, that celebrity cruise to perfect day that you wanted to book is available. Shoe fly, don't bother me." I was like, YOLO book it. I don't know that I wasn't 100% sure, but I was like, you know what? Why not? Make it happen. Make it happen. More super chats. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. Mark Lou, thank you for the super chat. Have you done a food tour in Nassau? I have not, but I have heard wonderful things about the food tours. I don't remember which one it was. There's one little bug here. It's not even a mosquito. It's just a little gnat or something that's bothering me. Anyway, hold on a second. I can find it for you. I will find it because I remember there's a number of them that are out there. And I've heard very good things about the Nassau food tours, which basically take you around and do different things to let's see if I can find it really quick. I don't want to say there's nothing more boring than watching me Google stuff. Here it is. I found it. So I will post it in the chat, Mark. Check out that link. I just posted it in the chat there, and you can check it out right there. Emlon, can you bring a drone on board? You can bring it on board. You cannot use it on board or at Perfect Day CocoCay, but you can absolutely bring it on board. Sorry, I get like really. Bug is just sitting here. It loves the camera. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is just flying between the camera and the phone. I kind of thought this might happen, but it was so nice out. I wanted to be outside. Enraged Bacon, thank you for the super chat. 187 days till Odyssey. Have they officially decided that Utopia is the last Oasis class ship? Yes and no. They have said that it is the last ship because it's the last ship on order. But on numerous occasions, I've been at different media events, and they have alluded to the idea that maybe it's not. Never say never is basically what they've said. They haven't confirmed it, but they also haven't committed to this idea that it's 100% the last ship. Does that make sense? It's very confusing. I know, but yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, I think this is Warren. I think you were answering about the first time cruiser advice. Yeah, never travel the same day of your cruise. Fly in at least one day ahead of time. Let's see here. Slew Dog wants to know, does the Cruise Compass have a Playmakers food, drink menu, and prices? No, but you can go to the Royal Caribbean app and find that information in there. You should be able to see that. Sorry guys, 1 second. Okay, we're caught up on there. Travis wants to know, in Cozumel, what's the best beach day pass place to go? We're going on Icon during spring break. We're worried about crowds. If you're worried about crowds, there's only one place. Well, there's two places I would recommend. One would be Nachi Kokum. They're all inclusive. They have a hard cap. And the other one is Del Mar Latino Beach Club. Both of them have hard caps. Del Mar Latino has no sand beach, but you can walk there from the cruise ship, which is nice. They have a pool and whatnot, so you don't worry about getting too hot. And it's a really nice. One of our writers went there and had a really nice time. Nachi Kokum is the other one. NACHICOCOM. Nachi Kokum is the other one. That has a beach. I've been there a number of times. I went there recently. I thought the service is kind of lacked right last time I was there, but it's still a good time. And it's a hard capacity. They don't oversell it. So I do, like, as an example, do not do Mr. Sancho's for that reason. Let's see here. Will wants to know any tips for what to wear on a Boston Canada cruise, doing a back-to-back cruise from Tampa to Boston and then Canada. I'm doing a similar cruise later this year. Will, I'm gonna be packing basically what I'm wearing right now. Long sleeve shirts. You want to pack? I pack a t-shirts. Still, it's worth it. You never know. Could be warm. And then hoodies is probably the name of the game right there. Enraged Bacon is a great name. Is a really great name right there. So yeah. Let's see here. I think I'm caught up on the chat from where I am. Lynn says, I noticed The cruise company stopped putting the casino bar hours in the compass. Do you have the hours displayed at the bar? I was on Mariner and Men. I thought I saw them in their compass. Usually it says like late is kind of what I've always had. So it might just be late, quite frankly. I'm not, which basically means whenever they decide. I don't have a specific time to give you, unfortunately. Eek, a mouse. How would you price to Royal Caribbean? What? I'm not sure I understand. Oh, prove. How would you prove to Royal Caribbean? There's a form to fill out, Mouse. There's a form you fill out. You have to do it a certain amount of weeks beforehand, and basically what they're going to do is verify it against against the against what they're doing right there. So yeah. Next question. Modern Myths wants to know, have I ever done a July 4th cruise? Yes. I did a July 4th cruise. One of my favorite ones was right when cruising restarted. I was on Freedom of the Seas, and they did fireworks because it was like a return to service. It was a big celebration. They don't usually do fireworks at all. But basically, there's a lot of 4th of July celebrations on board. You're going to have different decorations. You're going to have maybe even some special menu items, special drinks. Basically, it's a big party. It's an excuse to have a party on board the ship. So, hope that makes sense. Steven wants to know, hello from Connecticut. Going on Liberty in July, Haiti, which is Labadee, by the way, in Dominican Republic. How safe are these destinations? Labadee is very safe. Labadee, it's in Haiti, but it's in a literally walled off area of Haiti. It's on a peninsula. There's literally a wall with barbed wire, so it's not like and it's a very unpopulated area. So I wouldn't characterize it as somewhere that you need to go that you need to worry too much about it being safety problem. There's a lot of mosquitoes. I'm probably gonna wrap this up in a second. So it's fine. And in terms of the Dominican Republic, it's like any other place you can go to. You've got to do your due diligence about being aware of your surroundings, picking tours ahead of time. Anywhere in the world can be unsafe, just as much as anywhere in the world can be safe. But there are some safe things to do. I was just there in La Romana earlier this year. Had a great time. So it's more up to you than anything else. All right, guys. I have to wrap things up because there are way too many mosquitoes out here now. The bugs have become like, evidently the bugs love cruising as well because they're all just like huddled over here, I feel like, and they just keep flying back and forth. So I'm going to wrap things up. I do have a super chat coming in from Cheryl. Oops, Cheryl, where are you? Cheryl, thank you for the super chat. When booking a cabin, it says sleeps up to 3. Why can't 2 occupy it? When booking a cabin, it says sleeps up to 3. Why can't they? Some cabins have minimum occupancy numbers, but not for a 3 usually. I'm not sure I understand your question, Cheryl. Because if a cabin can accommodate up to 3, 2 people can book the room. That shouldn't be a problem. There are some cabins that do have minimum occupancy numbers. Like they're usually for higher numbers. Like, it can accommodate up to 5 people, like family cabins. But you can't book it with 2 people in the cabin because they want to make sure those cabins are being used. People that want to use that kind of space over there. So, yeah. Shannon, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, listen, for you West Coasters, it worked out for you. Although the bugs, when we do this next week in Tahoe, I'll do this from inside somewhere because there are a lot of bugs over here. So yeah. Anyway, have a great 4th of July, everybody. Stay safe out there. Have a good time. We'll be back again next week from a different place, but still on the West Coast, probably at our normal time next week. Not to worry about that. Anyway, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun like book a cruise. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.